So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to another album review of the Shield Dude on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector, and today we're going to talk about the brand new album by Australian prog metal band Caligula's Horse. And they have a new album called Charcoal Grace. So, a little bit of a background on this band. I've been listening to this band now for almost 10 years. And in 2015, they put an album that I paid some attention to, but it wasn't until 2017 that they put an album called In Contact, and it came out in September 15, 2017. Why is this date important to me? Because roughly 2 days after Puerto Rico was hit with the worst hurricane that it has had in the entire history of hurricanes in the island. It was the Hurricane Maria, and it was devastating. And I remember after the hurricane, it was pretty hard. And this album by Caligula's Horse, In Contact, really put me in a great mood. And I think I fell more in love with the band after that, because it was an album that really filled me with joy, and I really became a very fan of the band. And now in 2020, they released another album. I listened to that one, but not as much as the one in 2017. So now they're back with Charcoal Grace. And this is an album that is inspired by the pandemic. But it's an uplifting album. It's 9 tracks, an hour in length. And something that I really love about this album is the vocals. I think Jim Gray, as a vocalist, is just top notch. I think he's got a very emotive voice, and I like that this is a band that does clean vocals, because this type of progressive, like rock and metal with harsh vocals, I think it takes away from the feeling of the music. So I really like it. I think they're reminiscent of older bands, progressive bands in the singing, from the 70s and early 80s, but they sound modern because they have that modern sound, and the bass is very reminiscent in a lot of the songs. So I think that's great. Also, something very important with this album is that their guitar player, Sam Ballen, was the producer for this album, and the production of this album is very crisp, it's very lush. There's a lot of layering, and it's just beautiful sounding, and a very clean production where you can listen to every instrument very clearly. And I think for progressive metal, it works, because progressive metal should sound like that. It shouldn't sound raw. It should sound with great production, and this album, the production is fantastic. The songs are just great. I know they released first, they had a Golem, I think was their first taste of the album, and their singles, they picked the shorter songs. Like Golem is 5 minutes and 20 seconds, and then they have the Storm Chaser at almost 6 minutes. But these songs pack beauty with punch, because they're the songs that have more of that rapid, more metal delivery to them. Great guitar soloing and riffing on them, and the vocals, as I said, top notch. So I think they were great. And then they released a third single, The World Breathes With Me, and that's the album opener, and that's a 10-minute album opener, which is, it's sometimes it's ballsy to open an album with a long track, but this track sets the mood of the record. The World Breathes With Me. It's just we've been going through so much things with the pandemic, and we're breathing. The world is breathing. We will get past this. So it's a beautiful track. Also, they do something that a lot of progressive rock bands and metal bands do, is that they have a song that is divided in 4 chapters. And here we have it with Charcoal Grace, which is song 3 to 6. And the first chapter is called Pray, then A World Without, Vigil, and Give Me Hell. And this could have been one just track, but I like that they divided, because you can tell when the other part starts, because it's like a continuation of a song, but you can tell when it flows. And that's just a beautiful track. That alone could have been an EP without the other songs, but it's amazing. I was surprised first that they didn't do that like the album closer, because sometimes progressive rock bands do that when they divide a song like that. But I'm glad they didn't, because I will talk about the album closer soon. So yeah, then they have a song like Sales, and Sales is the shortest song on the one of the shortest song on the record at 4 minutes and 31 seconds. And that one is, I don't know why, it feels like that, like you're sailing, let your worries go away. It's one of the most like quieter songs on the record, but I think it does that because it prepares you for the two epic album closing tracks, which is the Storm Chaser first, which is a great single. I think out of the singles, I really think that's the one that has that appeal, that can appeal to the masses, because it's got a great chorus, great hook, but also can be more metallic at times. And I just love the like the song, how it's like you're the storm chaser, and you know, sometimes you're chasing these problems, but sometimes the problems chase you. I'm trying to analyze some of the lyrics, but it's a great song, and it goes into the epic finale of the album, which is called Mute, which is a 12-minute album closer. And what a beautiful way to finish the record. This song goes from ebbs and flows, you know, it goes through more like great guitar and like more like harder stuff, to more like I think it's like a piano and, you know, softer. And I like it because it has like different styles and elements to one song, and it doesn't stay linear. I like that it has all those changes, and throughout the song I think Jean Grey does the best vocal delivery on this album. You can feel the emotion in his voice. It's just a great track to finish to an album that right now is the best prog metal album of the year. And I know it's January, but Caligula's Horse has set the bar so high that any other like prog metal bands need to step up, because this is an amazing record that you should not sleep on. So I want to know from you guys, what do you think of Caligula's Horse, Charcoal Grace? What are your favorite tracks from this album? And I want to comment, you know, have you heard of this band? And if you like the videos that I'm putting out, of course, give me a like. That helps me with the YouTube algorithm to get to more people like yourself. And of course, subscribe if you haven't to. I got more content coming on the way. So until next time, people, this is Hector, the Shield Dude on a Couch, and I'll see you all right here on the couch. Thank you, and goodbye.